I grew up like a savage.
1 2 1 2. You now rocking with the No Vultures podcast. I'm Lord Rab, and today I got a very, 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 very special guest. Now, this man is the son of what we like to call a very brilliant mind, political prisoner, somebody that has been unjustly incarcerated for too many decades, about 4 right now, right?
Yeah, 43 years.
43 years. And when they say innocent until proven guilty or reasonable doubt, we know that for black people that's not honored at all, right? So today I got brother Jamal Mumia, aka Jamal Cook. Do you even use that name?
That ain't my name.
That ain't your name?
No, that's my daddy's name, but you know, like anything else, I get it from my mama. My mama, she didn't play that. She was 4'11", Francine Habiba, that's his first wife.
Okay.
You know what I mean? She was like, nah. So my name, I go by Jamal Ibn Mumia. Mm-hmm. You know, one of the things that we do is Freedom from Frame Up Foundation, right? We free those that been falsely accused and framed up. So one of the things is ironic is my father been there. Like you said, 43 years, but he did 30 years on death row. No physical contact, nothing, since I was 9. And then I like to say that they transitioned him from the frying pan to the broiler because they commuted him to life. But how do you move somebody off of death row? So a judge said it was constitutional irregularities. So what is irregularities? It's either a constitutional violation or it's not.
Right.
So they play word semantics to us, black and brown, and they try to justify their move. So he told the prosecutor, I'm gonna give you, which was Seth Williams out of Philadelphia, I'm gonna give you 180 days to appeal this. If you don't, then the sentence automatically commute to life. What? You just gave him vacation time to go head off and hide, and you could still persecute him.
Right.
So one of the things that I do, you know what I mean, I grew up in the streets of Philly, you know what I mean, North Philly, West Philly, all of that, but we geographical. Mm-hmm. And we always just do that because the streets raise us like that. So a lot of times our black and brown brothers, they don't get the message, they don't understand that it's called divided and undecided. And that's what keeps us apart. I always tell people, if you look at a saying that I always say from Africa, they used to say, I see you, right? You come bring it to the States, we be like, what you looking at? What you looking at? See that? So and that's from hood to hood, place to place. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that I understood is to know my father's history is to understand the situation that he in. Because at 14 years old, you know, he started the Black Panther Party in Philadelphia with the Captain Reggie Shell, you know, and one of the things that he did, he was a founder of that, but he was also the Minister of Information. So at 14 years old, how are you being surveillanced under COINTELPRO? They going to your high school. They knew where my grandmother worked at, Sears Roebuck.
With no criminal record.
No criminal record. And then the year that he got framed for this crime was 1981, December the 9th. They don't say that he was awarded the Journalist of the Year by the National Black Journalists. He was also the voice of the voiceless by the media, which was the Philadelphia Inquirer. And he turned down a job with Eyewitness News as an anchorman because they said he got to cut his dreads. He said, so you don't want my story or my image or my work ethics. You want the image that you want to put black people in.
Right.
So he refused that, okay? But his story goes back deeper than that. It's called Poughton Village, a place out in West Philly. That's with Move 9, the original. They had a standoff, okay? 1977, 1978, they was like, yo, they didn't have HOA. They had block captains. They was like, yo, we signed a petition, so Vulture, you got to get off this block. We don't like the way you don't cut your grass or nothing. Right. So anybody black gonna be like, man, you don't get the fuck out. What?
Right.
What you mean? Whatever. So they called the police and the police was like, yo, you ain't honoring the petition. Man, get the fuck out. So you can pull it up now on YouTube. They had a standoff. It's called Powton Village. So they have a standoff for like 30 days. And the mayor at the time was Frank Rizzo. And he's recorded, on recording, say we shoot first and ask questions last. And basically, they was highly racist. So they go up in there, shootout kickoff. Cop dead, officer ranking, right? My father, they actually got the picture when because he was a journalist. So it was at a press conference in City Hall. You know, the police commissioner, he over there filling this up. So he said, yo, yeah, we got those radical niggas out of here. They causing all them confusions, this and that. My dad raised his hand. It's a picture with him with an afro and a pencil in the back of his hand at the press conference. He said, can you touch on friendly fire? As it was one bullet and it was friendly fire and the police and the coroner report. He said, what? He said, friendly fire, they said another officer killed Officer Rankin, but you gave 9 people 30 to 100 years. You trying to sentence them. And he looked at him. He said, young man, you're going to be accountable for what you do. You know what I mean? So he was like, I'm asking you to answer the question. So he said, if they would have left when they supposed to have left, then that officer wouldn't have died. But he didn't say another cop killed him. So how they get convicted? See that? Year later, he got a capital murder case.
Let me ask you this: when we go back and we look at the history of the what they convicted your father of, the night of, what they convicted Brother Mumia of, the night in question, he wasn't a part of the traffic stop, the quote unquote traffic stop, right?
Right.
And so it was his brother that was being stopped.
Okay, so great question. So what happened is, like I told you, my father, my mother, Habiba, which is Francine, you know, they had kids. Journalists wasn't paying like that. My mama, she worked at the juvenile thing for juvenile detention and all that. So she like, yo, we need some more bread up in here, this and that. So he like, hey, look, I'm doing this journalist thing, this and that. And he used to work at WDAS, FM News. He was a broadcast journalist, and he was like the manager of it. And he was there, he took me down there. So like anybody relationship, you got to get another hustle. So he became a cab driver, which we call Uber and Lyft drivers, but they wasn't back then. So he like, no, old head said, yo, man, you might got to push the cab. On the weekend, you get some soft money and keep the wife cool. See what I'm saying? It's going to be late night. He was like, fuck it, I'm going to do that. Right. So he was driving a cab downtown, okay? My uncle get pulled over with the cop. You know what I mean? He don't know nothing about that. It was just like anything downtown in any hood. You hear pops ring off. You duck.
Right.
But then you look, and if you see your brother car, you like, hold up. That's like my brother car over there.
Right.
So you gonna go towards that, but you cautious. You don't even see what happened. What they don't say, he gets shot before he even reached the incident. Because it was actually, and people don't like to say it, but it was a hit on the cop. All right? Because you look at them shows that they make now to try to glorify it, like S.H.I.E.L.D. and all of that. Think about it. They in the red light district. Prostitution going on, money laundering, dope game, everything going on. They got the mob dudes, you know the game, grease my palm, I'll turn my head. They loving that. They getting they soft money.
Right, right.
But what people don't talk about, how the feds had an investigation from 1980 to 1985, 86 or something. You know what I mean? So now think about it. They got an investigation, they got to have a mole somewhere. You know what I mean? So now I tell people like this, real quick. My father caught the case December the 9th, 1981. Okay. Right? He got trial June 1982. July the 2nd, he sentenced to death row. What's wrong with that picture, bro? That's 5-6 months. Capital murder? Put you away like that? Man, if it ain't black, it ain't right. And one of the things they used was the Black Panther Party. They used an article that he had in the Black Panther Party that he put in when he was 15.
When he was 15.
And it said, America's political power grows from a barrel of a gun. He got that from Mao Zedong, the Red Public Book of China. But they didn't put that because you got all white jury. And a lot of things people don't know, my dad tried to defend himself. And he said, yo, I'm gonna pick my own jury, I'm gonna do that. They heard that voice. He started talking to people, asking them eloquent questions.
They said he was intimidating.
No, they said you disrupting the proceeding, took him out the courtroom and put him in a little holding cell. You know the joint where you go see your lawyer at? They got him in there and said, we're gonna pick your jury for you. Ran all the black people off the jury. And then they come back, you got an all-white jury. You like, yo, I ain't pick these people. You disrupting the proceedings.
Right.
You gotta remember the timeline now. The incident happened December the 9th, 81. July 1982, June, you at trial. And you get the same jury at trial that you got at sentencing. See what I'm saying?
Right.
2 days, July 2nd, what's the 2 days after that? 4th of July. They trying to go barbecue, the judge told them. He said, look, I'm gonna be on the barbecue. Y'all gonna be in there eating sandwiches if y'all don't come back with a verdict.
Yeah.
Crack don't care about nothing black and brown.
And he was not only was the trial super fast, but he was up against it from the pressuring of the witnesses to, like, you had the prostitute who was
Cynthia White.
was it two ladies actually?
Yeah.
It was one that was mid-block, and the one said that she knew the one who said she seen him do it, couldn't have saw him do it because of how far away she was.
Okay, yeah, you talking about Pamela Jenkins, Cynthia White, and Veronica Jones.
Veronica Jones.
Okay, so what happens is this here. The code thing go down. What you need to know is about the dude Arnold Beverly. They don't like to talk about him. He got a live confession that he did everything. He took a lie detector test twice. He said, boo, I took the hit. People don't know. I'm in the streets. I know it is. It could be as simple as in there at the pool hall. It's called putting a bag on somebody's head. People act like it's so hard. Like,
right.
Oh, the mob and this and that. Listen,
right.
Yeah, they involved. Where the money at? Because they put black people in these type of conditions. They got to get their money some type of way. So I said, so he took the lie detector test. He got an audio affidavit, and he said, yeah. He said, but I wasn't the only one on the hit. It was like 3 other people. And he said, it was undercover cops that was blocking me. He said, the boy come running across the street. So I'm protected by the cop. Because think about it, like I said, it's a dirty game going on.
So now we possibly, correct me if I'm wrong, are we talking about what eyewitnesses seen people leaving from the scene?
They seen him running. My father was shot at the scene.
At least 3 people saw
Yeah,
this.
but I'm gonna give you something cold. Because I'm gonna go back to what your question was, brother.
Okay.
When you said the car was pulled over with the brother.
Yes.
Yeah, that's his blood brother. But I'm gonna give it back. I gotta make the full circle for the people.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So one of the things that happened, so people, this is the game, the white folks try to clean it up like we slow. They say, okay, yeah, what's the history they could tell you about the officer Daniel Faulkner? Absolutely nothing. But they can't tell you he was in North Philadelphia district. How he get transferred downtown? Because he had a run-in and he had a complaint like they all was doing. They beating up somebody black and brown. So they say, okay, yeah, IED send you down here. But you go down here where they eating. This is Center City. They eating. So you part of the program. Then you get a whisper. Yo, listen, IED ask you something, you keep your nose clean. He's like, we can't go to jail for this shit. Look, listen, motherfucker, you keep your nose clean. So what he do? He gonna play both sides. I'm gonna give you the game because you straight dude, you should know this. He got seen coming out the FBI building. What do you think that? Put your street smarts on that. You got somebody in your crew coming out the FBI building, what's gonna be your excuse? I put in an application. So now they clean it up. Oh, he was putting an application in, checking his application. Come on, man. So y'all get together, he got to go. Right. Y'all know a federal indictment getting ready to drop. Y'all know this thing here. And to make it so cold, the dude name was Alfonso Giordano. That's the 3rd dude in command underneath of the police commissioner that pointed at my dad and said, young man, you're gonna be accountable for it. So that's his bulldog. He controlling my dad's investigation. He controlling the narrative. That's the one that said it was a confession. Okay? But who was Gary Walshaw? Gary Walshaw was the cop that said the black Negro made no statement.
Right.
Okay? Where he at? Oh, he on vacation. He can't get there. I'm gonna get you something colder than that. Got a public defender. You a journalist. You ain't do nothing. You saying, they railroad me, bro. Help me with this. He said, they ain't even give me no money to do nothing. Now remember, case happened December the 9th. I keep pushing that. You in trial, June 1982. Listen, dude saying they ain't got no bread. Your lawyer is on record saying, yo, I was smoking crack, man. I ain't had nothing to do. This shit stressed out. I ain't never had no case this big. Black boy, Anthony Jackson. So,
And said he had $1,000 resources.
correct, but how you don't get a new trial or your case turned over? Your lawyer say he was getting
smoke
high
crack.
doing your joint. He said, yo, man, I was just getting high. They didn't help me. Cut all the witnesses' names out, everything. Now, this is so cold. To get back to your question about my uncle up in the joint, I'm gonna ask you a question. Man, this is street smarts, because we deal with this, man, we the original people, okay? So our intelligence level is so high that they have to do ad hominem attacks on our character to keep us defending our character instead of who we are, you know? So, white cop, he killed, right? 2 black dudes, blood-related brothers, one shot at the scene, right? Other one, rest of the scene. Where's co-defendant at? Come on, bro, put the street smart down. Where your co-defendant at? Where Mumia co-defendant at?
That's what I've been wondering the whole time.
You didn't know that.
No ballistics test?
No, but listen, because it's colder now. You got a co-defendant now. Now you got a narrative. See? You ain't got no co-defendant. I can tell you this Jesse James shit. The cop was spinning around, he's falling and this and that. We got ballistic reports. The bullet projectile went down, lodged in my dad's liver. Okay? I ain't never seen no falling cop do no worm and all this and this and that. Okay? So now, another thing, right? They got pictures of cops holding the guns, right? I'm gonna ask you another cold question. Where the cop gun at? It's missing, reported missing for 2 hours. So is that his gun? Did y'all switch it? Y'all took both guns? There's a picture with a cop holding both guns. Why they missing for 2 hours before they reported in? And this is a killing. This is a cold demonstration going down. Okay? Give you something even more wicked. 30 years later, they said they found some boxes in the district attorney's office. He said, oh, my legal assistant went in the closet. I tell people, because I'm vicious on them lawyers. Them nut-ass lawyers he got is corny. But they got titles. NAACP, LDF, ACLU. I tell them Thurgood Marshall turned over in his grave because they take $1. You know that.
Facts.
They pimp black and brown.
Yes, sir.
You don't believe? Trayvon Martin, you know what I'm saying? Oscar Grant. Come on, man. They use these names and these posters, but these people was in the community. These people were regular people. See what I'm saying? Like my dad, a regular person. So now you look at this, they got the gun on, they do this, nobody saying nothing, no police test. They don't tell you that my dad's gun was licensed to him. Because when I said he was a cab driver, he got jammed.
He had been robbed.
No, twice.
Right.
So he looking like, because the old head tell you, go get that soft money, man. You go ahead. So you like this, yo, this how they do in Philly. They say, okay, yeah, what I owe you, let me run it. You turn around, that's that thing in your face.
Right, right.
And he like, son, wife, shit flashing in front of you. You're like, man, I ain't about to die over this little bit of money.
Right.
So you like, all right, fuck it. That was just a bad thing, because I'm speaking for black people. So he go to South Philly. Nigga say, yo, man, what you gonna run it? And he like, he heard that, and he like, oh, no, not again. And hit him again. He said, man, I got to go get my license. This shit crazy. Got my wife on my top. I'm trying to do the right thing. And it's sweet. But I'm like, I ain't about to die over this shit. So, like I told you, and I'm gonna let you answer. Where's co-defendant at? What was the cop doing? You see what I'm saying? Look, another cold demonstration. The boxes they got found, right? District Attorney's office for so many years was on Arch Street, right? So 4 or 5 blocks over here is 13th and Filbert, the bottom part of the City Hall in Philly, downtown Philly. That's the District Attorney's office now, right? That's where they said they found the box 30 years later. On the boxes, it got Mumia Abu Jamal, it got all this, right? So I said, okay, where the U-Haul and the Penske at? Because you got to move shit from there to there. You ain't see it there.
Right.
How I get to the other building, man? You ain't find nothing in no closet. So now, his lawyer didn't even have that. It's exculpatory. I'm going to get colder than that. They found a letter in there from Chober, right? Chober was the cab driver boy that gave testimony, fake testimony, right? That he seen my dad being a shooter. What he don't say, he had a Molotov bomb, which is liquor, with a rag in it, lighted, and he threw it into a school. So he on probation, driving without a license in the cab joint. But it get colder than that. they found a letter that he wrote to Joseph McGill, which was the assistant district attorney, and said, yo, where my money at? I did what you asked me to do. Where my money at? And they told me, oh, no, he just wrote a letter. What? Come on, man. We can't keep playing this game like we don't know what's going on with Mumia. So with Freedom from Frame Up, what we do, our frame is our initiative, right? To call to arms for justice and community transformation, right? We are the inventors of the Mumia Freedom Tour because we believe that grassroots from all over, we reach one, teach one. We break the barriers. We for black and brown all day long that's been falsely accused and the exonerees that's coming home. Everybody else got a halfway house. Why they ain't got a halfway house? I come to you and say, yo, vote, you know, you just did 20 years, we apologize, sue us. Where you gonna go? Your peoples might have been dead, whatever. You needed some social structure, but now I call you a bum or I say some sucker shit to you. You know what I mean? But you at the street now. Yeah, nah, you ain't waiting on no case money. We got a program. We gonna make them abilities, put you in housing, put you in structure, that you a workshop. You know what I mean? You automatically come in as a counselor to show the youth, like, look, this is an ugly game, but you need to be educated. So with us, with Frame, right, that's our initiative. F is for freedom, legal advocacy and support. R is for reform, systemic change through education. And A is for advocacy, public awareness and mobilization. M for mentorship, empowering exonerees and the youth. And E is for education, knowledge sharing and the community building. Now this is the startup level, but we also have levels that we have for people that can facilitate this. Because we want to do a program, national. And we started our tour here because this is the heart of the Panthers. My father was a Panther, my mother was a Panther. You know? And so one of the things that people don't understand is the fundamentals of Mumia case. And it's like, why did Arnold Beverly testimony get in the trial? You wouldn't believe how a judge wouldn't let it in. You know what they said? You know what they said?
What's that?
They said it's time barred. You should have brought this in earlier. We're not going to even see it. So they blocked it with the criminal procedures in time. My thing is this, there's two things in America. One is an alibi, and you got a live person confessing. I think that need to be in a court of law.
Right, right.
So we ain't gonna play no more games. So what we doing, right, with Freedom from Frame Up Foundation, we getting petitions together, and we asking people to write Joshua Shapiro. He is the governor in Pennsylvania. From a stroke of a pen, he can pardon Mumia unconditionally. He can pardon Mumia Abu Jamal that's trapped at SCI Mahanoy, going through medical conditions now. You know what I mean? He got, listen, the lens in his eyes is messed up so bad he need re-surgery on him. And he need help. I ain't got my dad blind in there. And the superintendent is Bernadette Mason. You can call SCI Mahanoy in Pennsylvania and tell them how y'all can't give him surgery, but you can say he got a life sentence. You control of his life, right?
Right.
So you can't take care of his medical? So that and Joshua Shapiro, which is the governor of Pennsylvania, he can unpardon him. We don't need no trial or no hearings. I just ran down to you so factual that a blind man can see that.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? But let me ask you something. For that January 6th, what they do?
Man.
Okay, he signed that pen, then they get out. They're waiting out there in the parking lot saying, it's 2 hours. He ain't say, oh, I got a hearing, we need a new trial. So when it's white is right, it's black ain't right?
Right.
What's going on? Why we train and program to go through the lion game again for all this shit here, trials and hearings and that? They came out, what they do? They showed their whole joint on TV.
Right, they did.
And they booked them, and what they do? Come out, whole record clean. Homie, talk to me.
And then there's things in this case like, you know, the officer making a statement that the Negro said nothing.
Correct.
But also the doctor. The doctor said, I didn't leave his side.
Correct.
There was no confession, right? Veronica Jones, when she comes back to court, she's arrested.
Correct.
For
I was
warrant
there.
She didn't even know she had.
All right, this is what happened. Okay, so Veronica Jones, she said, look, I'm recanting my statement because I was looking at 15 years.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm gonna do like most black people do, because they gas us like that. You don't know that, nigga. You gonna play this game or you gonna do 15. I got the people right there We're going to sign it off like we did Cynthia. She had 8 charges pending, and she had a pimp locked up, and they let them all out. She had a get out of jail free card. She get locked up in Maryland. She get locked up over here. She call her peoples in Pennsylvania. Dude, come, sign, they out. Because it's a game, brother. They are here to politicize, you know, they politicize and they police us. You know what I mean? To the point that we hate us. You see what I'm saying? You go out them urban joints, you smell cow shit. You like, damn, I ain't see no cops out here. You go to the damn, pull up at the gas station, you got them eating hot dogs right off the grill with them old gas station knuckles, you know, but you don't see no cops there. They all at the donut shops.
Right, right.
And so with her, they told her that you on welfare at the time, right? So she said, yeah. They said, okay, but you got your check and you gave, where your kids was at? Well, my kids was with my mother because I was prostitute. Oh, but you took the government check and gave it to your mama, so that's fraud. Your mama live in Jersey, so you cross state line. Your Honor, we asking that we arrest her up on the stand right now before she finish her testimony. The judge said, yeah, go take her down the house and because we bailed her out. You understand? We said, look, don't worry about that sister. She had her daughters in there. She said, look, I was good, but I can't live with that demon no more. I kept seeing his son because I've been doing this since the 90s. She said, I see his son and his kids on there. And I knew I lied because we used to mess with dirty cops and everything. And they said as prostitution, they did that so they wouldn't be gang raped because they used to lock.
Right.
Yeah, they used to pick them up, take them to the joint, like you heard the Will Smith joint, some thing. But that's a big part.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they taking them up there and they say, well, you gonna go to jail or you gonna let us all hit?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they like, fuck it, I'm gonna get a boyfriend here and then put him in. See? So a lot of things, what I keep saying is, major things. How could Arnold Beverly confession, you can go on YouTube and see this shit, how I can't go there. Now I'm gonna kill you even more what people don't like to talk about because there's investigators, everything on there. There's somebody's blood on the scene, bro. Okay? Different people's blood on the scene. Guess who other blood was on the scene? Arnold Beverly. But they saying, but it's time barred. See, they was too late to bring that, so this gotta be something new. You can't do that with actual innocence.
Right.
How you gonna say that? You ain't hear what this man had to say.
Had to say, yes.
So you kill it. So with that thing, they obfuscate. And I don't blame the lawyers, I don't blame them. It's the system, brother.
The system.
It's designed like that. See, I saw a plain and simple. Y'all seen January 6th? How many more hearings they had? How many more appeals they had? Them jokers was waiting by the door with a roll call.
Right.
I'm gonna call your name, you release, get all your stuff, and your family's out there. I'm not asking no questions. Time is reason. Bob, they out there on the news. It took him 2 hours, but he's home. See what I'm saying? Mumia, 43 years, homie.
Man.
He went in at 27. I told you, ain't no way I ever seen it. I got homies, man, they got all type of crazy cases and all that and fighting for their shit. And they trials was like, they on pre-trial for 2 years, bro.
Right.
We got 5.5, 6 months and nobody questioning that.
You can't get through county jail on a murder charge without a year.
A capital joint.
Yeah, on a cop. High
Come
profile.
on, man.
The judge.
Albert Sabo.
I just got to ask you this.
Go ahead.
How does he preside over the appeals? How is he constantly in your dad's face at these? Like, you was my trial judge. Now I got to come back and see you, and you were excluding evidence as I'm appealing.
Okay, but let me.
And at the time,
Right.
he had the highest, in the United States, I believe, he had sent the most people to death row.
Correct.
Yeah.
So now look, there's two things going on. You talking about Albert Sabo, which was the judge.
Okay.
And the other dude is Ron Castile.
Okay.
Okay, Ron Castile was the assistant district attorney with Ed Rendell and Joseph McGill on my dad's case. So he originally was in my dad's trial. He got promoted like Ed Rendell and they went up the chain. So he became a judge on the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. So how could he hear appeals on cases that he convicted? You see what I'm saying?
That's the
so he
craziest
said he
shit
ain't
ever.
gonna recuse himself. He said, but I'm gonna be honest. So that's one. The other part you talking about is Albert Sabo, the racist piece of crap judge, right? Now it's called Terry Morrow. It's a white woman. She was a stenographer. She said and you could go get this on YouTube. She said she overheard him say, I'm gonna help them fry that nigga.
Fry that nigga.
I'm just trying to stay racked up like you.
Put an 8 in a 1 and do magic. Tryna stretch hair on like elastic. Eco-friendly drug dealer, I don't waste no plastic. Use all 4 corners of that baggie. All I ever wanted was a bankroll. So I pull up on Champ before the bank close. Say no to stank hoes and stank clothes. No paramedic pimpin', nigga, we don't save hoes. Yeah, rest in peace to Lil' M.